Put your hands together for Kelly Shanley!
Hi, you guys! Oh my God, thank you so much for being here. I know it's not my birthday anymore, but we're gonna pretend that it is. I rented this outfit, it's my birthday, okay? My mom even came down. You guys, my mom is here. She unfortunately drove down all the way from Tahoe just to support. So they're amazing. If you haven't had the chance to meet my mom, she's amazing, and I aspire to be like her in pretty much every phase of my life. Like for Mother's Day, we were actually planning. She's so embarrassed right now. I'm gonna transition off of you for a while. You're fine. No, for Mother's Day, we were actually planning a mother-daughter ski trip to Mammoth. Yeah, she can still shred the gnar, you guys. She can. Yeah. Unfortunately, Mom got COVID for Mother's Day, so it became a sister ski weekend instead. The Airbnb was non-refundable, so, you gotta do what you gotta do. But no, my sister and I went and we booked a condo in this complex that was like pretty much the size of a sandals resort. Like, it was massive. And I didn't see another person all weekend. Like, I'm aware it was the off season, but it was a little unnerving. Like, every time I rounded a corner, I half expected to see a set of dead twin girls on tricycles, just like wheeling down the hall towards me. But I did venture out to the hot tub because, when in Mammoth, yeah, you have to. And of course there was no one there, so I turned on the jets, and I settled in, and you guys, I man-spread it all over that hot tub, okay? Yeah, I had like a jet on this foot, a jet on that foot, a jet on my back, my head back, eyes closed, mouth open, just like, oh. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. I'm alone in the woods. In like a pretty vulnerable position right now. Like, what if someone came along and just thought that I was masturbating in here? Like, I don't know where that came from. I talk about irrational fears. I mean, it might have had something to do with the edible I had 45 minutes before the hot tub. Yeah, but so I try to calm myself down. I'm like, Kelly, relax. Nobody thinks you're masturbating. There's literally no one here. And then all of a sudden, this dog started barking at me from inside the building. And he was like, pervert, pervert, pervert. I wasn't! Fuck it, I might as well, though. Jesus. I'm still working on the climax for that joke, but no, speaking of perverts, though, so my boyfriend, Zeke, the guy with the martial arts haircut from earlier, yeah, he's mine. Yeah, we went to a show recently, and the question was posed, if you could swap bodies with your partner, what would you do in their body? And I was like, ooh, Zeke, same question. I mean, he's like, your body? And I'm just preparing for like weird, kinky shit, He's like, I would go skiing. I was like, what? He's like, not everyone can barrel down a mountain at 70 miles an hour and live to tell the tale, so I would do that. I was like, oh, all right, good answer. He's like, why, what would you do with my body? I was like, oh, I would have sex with me. Like, no hesitation, like, at all. Not out of vanity, but just because, like, I've always wondered what sex feels like for a man, right, ladies? Anybody? Just me? Come on, right? You're curious. Of course. Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, sex feels great as a woman, but it does feel like really, really good for men, because men have started countless wars just to get their dick wet, Like, they have betrayed their families, ended their careers, just torched their reputations, just to come inside a stranger without a condom on, okay? I'm just saying, like, sex feels good for women, but it's not like throw your life away good. Yeah, so if I swap bodies with my boyfriend, well, I'm having sex, you're in a relationship with me, guess I'm having sex with me, It's a win-win. But I did really appreciate his wholesome answer. That was so sweet. No, the reason he said that is because I am a pretty good skier. Thank you. I can't really take credit for it, though. I grew up in Lake Tahoe, and that's a ski town. So I didn't really have a choice. It's basically like, oh, you can stand up, it's time to go skiing, Like, does anyone here remember learning how to walk? No, right? Yeah. It's like that, but with skiing. Like, it's literally hardwired in there. Like, breathing, or eating, or over-apologizing. You know? Like, I am just as good at shredding down a black diamond on a powder day as I am at apologizing to men to diffuse tension so that I don't get murdered. One of those skills comes in handy a lot more often than the other. Sorry, it's just a joke. I'm just kidding. Don't get mad. No. But no, growing up skiing was really fun because it was definitely the most freedom that I got. You know, you're just like cruising all over the mountain with your friends, like shredding past the gapers who don't know what they're doing, heckling people from the chairlift who are skiing in jeans. A lot of people ski in jeans. I get very mixed reactions when I say that. It's either like, what? People ski in jeans? Or they're like, yeah, so? No wrong answers, you're fine. But like, if you think about it, skiing in jeans is kind of like surfing in your underwear, you know? Like, you're technically covering the right parts. But like, if you fall down while you're skiing in jeans, which I'm assuming you're gonna do because you're skiing in jeans, your butt's gonna get wet. It's gonna stay wet for the rest of the day. And cold, wet jeans might just be the most uncomfortable clothing item known to man, right? Not to women. We've got push-up bras and high heels and shapewear, all kinds of shit, but just for men. Yeah, I do feel like there's a missed marketing opportunity there though, you know? Like skiing in jeans for the busy mountain woman. Go straight from the slopes to drinks with the girls. Just swap your ski boots for Sirens. Sirens are Sirens are snow boots, for those of you who are not, you know, familiar with mountain living. No, but the last time I went to Tahoe, or last time in the winter, I guess, I didn't actually get to ski because I had a contusion on my leg. It was from softball. If you know me, it's always from softball. Thank you. Or kickball, one of the two. Yeah. No, but I had like a goose egg right here on the front of my shin, surrounded by some really nice shades of black and blue from my knee to my ankle. So ski boots were not happening. Like, they were not happening. But I still headed over to the mountain. Palisades Tahoe is my home ski resort, to partake in the après-ski portion of the day. For those of you who don't know what après-ski means, après-ski is French for after ski, let's get fucked up. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Generally, people do it after they ski for safety, because, you know, high altitude, you get drunk faster. But there are some risk takers who do it before, during, and after they ski. Yeah. And I actually got to hang out with some of them at the new après-ski spot that I discovered. Yeah. Turns out, Palisades Tahoe's hottest new après-ski spot is urgent care. Yeah, me and my goose egg got to go to urgent care together. And yeah, there was no wait, you know, I just walked right in. Pretty steep cover charge though. I think it was $60 with insurance or $2,600 without. Yeah, they just want like a certain kind of crowd in there, you know? Yeah. They were really sweet though. Like, I just turned 37 years old and they still checked my ID. So nice. No, I really thought I wouldn't like it there at urgent care, you know, because they didn't serve food or alcohol and everyone in there was wearing jeans. But they do have a pretty good thing going. They do. Like, they don't have cocktail servers to take your drink order, but they do have physician's assistants to take your temperature. Yeah. And there's no bartender to make whatever your favorite drink is, but there are like real doctors who can give you a diagnosis. Yeah, they don't serve hot toddies, but they do fix broken bodies. Yeah, no white Russians, just a lot of concussions. Yeah, and you can't drink a PBR, but you can sign a DNR. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. No, all in all, it was a little more expensive than my typical après-ski order. After the antibiotics and the leg ultrasound, I was out $2,600, you guessed it. But they did save me, you know, a trip to the ER in an ambulance, which is one of my fears. Like, I hope I never have to ride an ambulance, especially in a foreign country. Like, have you guys ever been to Europe and heard the sirens over there? They're terrifying. They're like, you're like, holy fuck, what's the emergency, right? Which I guess it's kind of the point, but I think we're all desensitized in the US because the sirens here kind of just sound like drunk college girls going to the club, you know? Like the fire engine's like, wee! And the ambulance is like, wait for me, wee! And they just barrel down the road together like, wee, wee, wee! And like everybody gets out of their way, right? No one's fucking with them. Some people even follow them just to see where they're going, you know? And then they all arrive at the scene of the accident, which is kind of a good name for a nightclub, incidentally. And they're greeted like heroes, right? You know, everyone's like, over here, we've been waiting for you. Come on, can we help you? Do you need a drink? Oh my God, you guys look so hot, right? And they're doing their thing, you know, everything's great. But then the cops show up late, you know, and they literally sound like a buzzkill. They're like, meh, 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 meh. They're like the drunk frat guys of the rescue squad, you know? They're just like dripping in toxic masculinity. They're like, don't worry, ladies, the men are here. Start like interrogating everybody, telling people to get on their knees for no reason. Looking for the drunkest person in the room that they can throw in the back of the car and take home with them. The quota, bro. Yeah, that's a DUI joke and a rape joke rolled into one. In case you're wondering how I feel about cops and frat guys. Yeah, so by then, you know, it's time for the drunk girls to go home. You know, like they did what they came here to do. They worked hard. They're tired. And now they need Taco Bell. Yeah. Taco Bell was my go-to when I was a drunk college girl. So, I don't know what the kids are doing these days. But yeah, I don't think I've had Taco Bell since before COVID though. Like, the new BC before COVID. Is that a thing now? Yeah. I actually had a really good COVID. Not last month when I caught it and had to cancel this show, but like the whole like quarantine lockdown part of it, I actually really enjoyed it because I just moved back in with my mom up in Lake Tahoe. Yeah, yeah, you can cheer for my mom. Yeah, I moved back into my childhood home and we just like hibernated through quarantine like a little mama bear in her cub, you know? Just like staying in the safety of the den, living off of our fat stores and like red wine, you know? Watching old DVDs of City Slickers because the Wi-Fi in the forest ain't so good. Yeah, it was quaint. It was really nice. I really liked it, except for one thing, which is that I think my mom might be getting funnier than me. And as her daughter, I'm like really happy for her, but as a comedian, it's tearing me apart from the inside, you know? Like on New Year's Eve, 2021, we were playing Cards Against Humanity. It was me, my mom, my sister, my mom's boyfriend Jordan, and my, at the time, brand new boyfriend Zeke. Because what better way to introduce him to my family, right? And like, normally, I'm pretty good at Cards Against Humanity, you guys. But like, my mom was crushing souls. Like, she was dominating this game, every hand. One of the rounds, the question on the black card was, what is my superpower? And the answer that my mom played was, inserting a regular-sized mason jar into my anus. Biggest laugh on my show! Right, that one. I can't compete with that. Fast forward like 2 days later, I'm unloading the dishwasher. I came across a mason jar. I'm like, I'm sleepy. I haven't had my coffee yet. So without thinking, I go, hey, Mom, where do you put your mason jars? And without missing a beat, she goes, is it regular size? I know. My boyfriend laughed so hard, I got jealous, okay? That is my job. Excuse me. Yeah, so I had to get out of there, obviously. So I moved out of my mom's house and straight into my boyfriend's because I'm an adult and I can take care of myself. Yeah. It's actually my first time living with a boy. Thank you. Bit of a late bloomer. Yeah, it took me 35 years. But it's been really fun. I mean, he's a fellow comedian and just like a generally ridiculous human. So we kind of just run around the house like doing bits and weird accents and going, write that down, that was funny, you know? And I love it. But like sometimes I don't know where the bits end and real life begins. Exhibit A, the day that I moved in, it was exhausting. You've all moved before, whatever, we don't need to go into it. But when it was finally bedtime, I was thrilled, right? Until my cat, Remy, decided that that was his cue to start exploring every inch of our apartment, like Indiana Jones looking for the Ark of the Covenant. Just like knocking shit over, exploding things. I don't know what was happening, but by the time I finally fell asleep, hours later, I was pretty pissed off to be rudely awakened by the sound of my windows rattling. Just like bang, 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 bang. And like any good pet owner, I blamed my cat, you know? I just sprang out of bed like, Remy! And Zeke was like, no, Kelly, that wasn't Remy. That was an earthquake. And I was like, what? He was like, that was an earthquake. I was like, I didn't feel it. Are you fucking with me right now? He was like, no. I was like, is this a bit? Are you doing a bit right now? Kel, it's 4 a.m., okay? This is a bit-free time zone. Yeah, those are very important. Exhibit B. We decided to take like a little romantic weekend, and we rented an Airbnb out in Malibu. And it's one of those houses that's on stilts that literally hangs out over the Pacific Ocean, you know, which is like super sketchy if you're the owner, but like super romantic if you're not. And like, you know, at one point I'm just relaxing on the couch, like my boyfriend's going down on me, listening to the waves crashing beneath me, and I was dying to make a joke. I'm like, who's wetter, the ocean or my pussy, right? But I waited. I waited, had my orgasm, and then I made the joke, because that is a bit free time zone. You gotta respect the word. Yeah. Speaking of wetness, though, sorry, Mom. No, I have a useless observation to share with you guys. If you consider like vaginal lubrication versus semen, it's kind of like juice versus sauce, right? Bear with me. Like, juice is a hot commodity, you know? Like, we pay more for juice by the gallon than we do for gas, which is saying something right now, you know? Like, if you're gonna juice something, fruit, vegetable, female, you know, you either need to have the right equipment or you need to be very good with your hands. Right? But either way, you gotta earn your juice, you know? Whereas like with sauce, pretty much anyone could come along and just like shake the bottle a couple times and it'll just explode all over the place. Just saying. I told you it was useless, but yeah, I live with a boy and now I just talk about sex all the time. So what do you want? It's probably just because I'm really excited to finally be having regular sex again. Thank you. You can cheer for that. Cheer for that. I was coming off of a very long dry spell before we got together. Like very long. Like so, I do mean regular as in frequency, not style. This is LA. We don't kink shame here. You do you, okay? But yeah, it's been really fun. So really the only major hiccup for me personally happened like the first few times we slept together. So my boyfriend is sober, and so I was sober too. And as someone, yeah, you guys get it. As someone who had been single for 9 out of the last 10 years, I had not had sober sex in years, let alone sober first time with a new partner sex, okay? That is just not done. That's just not done. And I was learning that, like, turns out when you're sober, you're, like, super present, you know? It's like all this eye contact happening, like, my senses are not numbed from the alcohol. And I realized that I could hear everything that I was feeling, which is not always what you want during sex, you know? It was mostly just like squishy noises and occasionally my hip popping. Like, it's not sexy. So the next time I was like, hey, why don't we like, you know, put on some tunes, huh? And he was like, yeah, totally. But neither one of us had like a go-to sex playlist, you know? And it's not like they make, now that's what I call music to fuck to, volume 99, 69. Obviously, it's volume 69. So, onto Spotify we went to find a sex playlist, you know, as you do. And the first one that we tried was called Stay in Bed. And like, it was cute, but it was more for like cuddling in bed on a rainy day, you know? It wasn't, not quite. The next one that we tried was called Bedroom Jams with a Z. Like that one was for fucking, you know? It was hardcore. I was starting to feel like the Goldilocks of sex playlists, you know? I was like, this one is too soft, and this one is too hard. So I decided to make my own, and I'm pretty sure that I got it just right, because after I added a couple of songs, Spotify started recommending more for me to add, and this was the first one they recommended. Alright, thank you guys so much!